Statistics show that mothers are one of the most loved individuals in the world, as an accurate study stated that more calls are made on Mother's Day than any other day in the year, with an overwhelming number of over 122 million calls made. Now, I know this fact doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. It's pretty clear to see why mothers are loved, as almost every child's fondest memories are with their mothers. And one of the major reasons why I started this true crime piece like this is because our case begins with a mother. Her name was Mary Gilbert, and she was born on the 22nd of June 1964 in Jersey City, New Jersey, to parents June Rose C. Gran and John W. Cox Sr. Her father John was a businessman, and her mother June Rose was a housewife. Reports state that Mary wasn't an only child, as she had a younger sister named Lori Grave. She completed her education in a local high school in Jersey before she went on to study law at a university. She would later have 4 children, all girls, and their names were Shannon Maria Gilbert, Sarah Elizabeth Gilbert, Stevie Gilbert Smith, and Sherry Gilbert. Like every other mother, Mary Gilbert wasn't perfect, as reports state her children had a turbulent childhood, but she did what she could to see them through. Mary loved her 4 girls like every good mother would, and she expected great things from each and every one of them. But little did she know that the life of her eldest daughter, Shannon Maria Gilbert, would lead to one of the most bizarre true crime cases the world has ever seen. And before we get too much further into this video, today's video is sponsored by Huge Casino. Huge Casino is free to download on iOS and Android, and the game does not offer real money gambling. Make sure to click the link in the description to start playing today and get yourself 5 million chips, and it really helps the channel out. When you download the game, you have over 100 casino games to choose from. And on top of slots, you can play poker, roulette, baccarat, and blackjack. If you're like me, at the end of the day, you like to wind down and play a game that you can sit there and mindlessly enjoy. I also joined a club, so it gets me extra bonuses, and as you see, I'm the co-leader. But some of my best wins have been playing the baseball slot. Easily one of my favorite, and as you see, I get a couple back-to-back bonuses. Oh yeah. Another cool way to make some free chips is to complete the card sets. And they also offer free bonuses that happen every few minutes depending on what level you are. So there's plenty of ways to get free chips to just play and play. Once again, make sure to click my link in the description or the pinned comment and get 5 million chips, as well as helping the channel out, because you know you love your boy. I want to give a huge shout out to Huge Casino for sponsoring this video. Shannon Maria Gilbert was born on the 24th of October in 1996. Shannon was the eldest of her 3 siblings, their names being Sarah, Sherry, and Stevie. She and her sisters all had a rough childhood, but Shannon was always described as a warm-hearted girl. It wasn't long after all 4 of them had been born that her mother started having problems with Shannon's father. And shortly after that, her mother Marie made the decision to leave Shannon's father, and she moved to Ellenville, a small village in upstate New York with Shannon and her siblings. Unfortunately, this decision would cause the family to break apart, as Shannon and her siblings would be separated from their mother and put into foster care. Her mother Mary would fight to get custody back, and at the end of it all, she managed to regain custody of Sherry and Stevie, her youngest girls. But unfortunately, she wasn't able to get Shannon and Sarah back, and this led to Shannon and her sister to live out the rest of their childhood in foster care. During her time in foster care, Shannon moved from foster home to home. But even with all the moving, she managed to do well in school. A statement from one of Shannon's foster moms would say that she is a very smart girl, with quotes being, "Shannon was smart enough to fit 2 whole years of classes into 1 year, and she graduated from high school in New Paltz, Ulster County, at 16 years old." This particular foster mom also said that she kept in touch with Shannon when she eventually left her home. After she graduated from high school, Shannon did numerous odd jobs to make money. At first, she worked as a hotel receptionist, before she became an Applebee's hostess. She then became a snack prepper at a senior center. Things looked to be going well for Shannon at this point, as it looked like she was ready for the future. But unfortunately for Shannon, she didn't leave her chaotic past unscathed, as her tumultuous childhood in foster care left her with a severe condition. Shannon was diagnosed with bipolar disorder during her time in foster care. She was very young at the time, and she was given medication to take care of the condition. But Shannon didn't like her prescribed medication. She claimed the drugs messed with her body. In Shannon's own words, "It gave me the shakes." Due to her discomfort with drugs, Shannon stopped taking them immediately after she graduated high school. With no medication to take care of her bipolar disorder, Shannon kept living with her condition. After her slew of jobs, Shannon decided to move to New Jersey with her then partner in 2007. It was there Shannon would work another odd job to earn some money, as she joined an escort agency while she tried to make it as a singer and actress. Shannon's early days as an escort were, in one word, chaotic. She was arrested on one occasion, and she was once assaulted so severely during a job that she needed to put in a titanium plate to fix her broken jaw. Records also show that Shannon used to abuse hard drugs during her time as an escort. But even with all the ghastly things that were going on, Shannon didn't stop because Shannon needed the money. She figured that outweighed the numerous problems she was facing in her job. Shannon charged $200 per hour for her services. She also advertised her services on Craigslist, charging the same amount. When jobs rolled in, Shannon would keep 2/3 of the payment, and the remaining balance was given to her driver, a man named Mcculloch. Michael acted as both Shannon's personal driver and bodyguard. He also took and accompanied Shannon to her client's location in addition to acting as her security guard by keeping her safe from any potential danger. Kinda sounds like a pimp to me. The pay was very good, and it didn't take long before Shannon was able to move into her own place in Jersey City, New Jersey. Some reports even state that Shannon had managed to make $600 in one night. Shannon didn't only spend her new influx in money on herself, as she spoiled her mother, sisters, and nephews with gifts and presents. Her mother, Mary, knew what Shannon's job was, and she tried her best to get Shannon to quit and move back in with her. But all her pleas fell on deaf ears, as Shannon wasn't ready to give up the big bucks. Now, even though Shannon didn't listen to her mother and quit, she knew she couldn't be an escort forever. She was a smart girl, and she made plans to potentially quit soon, as she'd start taking online college classes. But unfortunately for Shannon, those plans never came to fruition, as a particular job she'd accepted on the 1st of May 2010 saw the abrupt end of her escort career. Shannon was once again hired for her services by a new client. Her client's name was Joseph Brewer, and he lived in Oak Beach, Long Island. Apparently, Joseph was going through a messy separation from his then wife, and in an attempt to get his mind off of things, he came across Shannon's Craigslist ad. So after the job was finalized, Shannon made her way to Joseph's house with her driver, Mcculloch. She left a little while after midnight, and when they arrived at her destination, her driver, Mcculloch, waited for Shannon to be done with her job so that he could take her home. Everything was fine at first, as there were no recorded issues for the first couple of hours. But that all changed when Shannon's client, Joseph Brewer, rushed out of his house to call Michael for help, as Shannon had supposedly started acting crazy. Joseph claimed Shannon had become erratic right before they started their session, and he needed Michael to come and help calm her down. Michael believed Shannon was on drugs, and this was the only feasible explanation for her strange behavior. But before either of them could do anything, Shannon was seen frantically bolting from Mr. Brewer's residence. The witness testimonies from both Michael and Joseph state that after she left Mr. Brewer's home, Shannon had started running through Oak Beach and banging on the doors of Mr. Brewer's neighbors for help. After seeing this, her driver Michael made an attempt to follow her in his vehicle. But it didn't take long before Shannon went out of sight. Even though he couldn't see Shannon anymore, Michael still attempted to look around for her. But after a slew of many unsuccessful searches, he decided to finally give up and return to the city as Shannon had seemingly vanished into thin air. Now, we all know the human body is capable of doing so many amazing things, but evaporating into thin air is not one of them. People don't just disappear. And while the entire situation seemed strange, the next couple of minutes after the incident would attempt to bring home a slew of answers. The cops arrived at Oak Beach, Long Island a little while after the strange incident, and after a slew of witness statements, eyewitness reports, and investigations, they were able to piece Shannon's last moments together. One of the first things that came to light was around 4:51 a.m. 911 dispatchers received an alarming call from Shannon Gilbert.
State Police, Trooper Fry. State Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know.
You're driving right now?
No, I'm inside the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm inside the house.
What house?
I don't know. Can you trace where I am?
I'm sorry?
Can you trace where I am?
No, I can't. What's your callback number you're calling from?
Huh?
What phone number are you calling from?
Somebody's after me. Please.
Are you in Suffolk County or Nassau County?
I'm in Long Island.
Where on Long Island are you?
No. 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 No, stop, no.
Where in Long Island are you? In Suffolk County? Nassau County?
Huh? Why? Why you call me by my name? Why?
County, you on the line?
Stop. Please. Stop it, please. Please stop. Please. Can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please. Please. Please.
Go that way, please. Go, come on. Come on, let's go. Come on, roll that side. Come on, go outside. Oh. Come on, all of us. Come on, roll that side. Come on.
No, please.
Come on. Come on. Please, come on.
Please.
Come on.
Why?
Just come on here. Come on. I'll go upstairs. You leave. I'm going to stay upstairs. Look, I'm going to go upstairs. You leave. I'm going to go upstairs. Okay? You leave, please. Please, get your ticket. My hold. What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
He's in a house on my
Why?
Huh? Well, I don't know, but it was transferred to me.
Why?
No.
Are you going to kill me?
It's running through, I think it's Suffolk County on the left transfer to the county on Anthony.
Kill me? Why are you going to
Call Suffolk on the left.
You freaking down. Come on.
I'm in the middle of nowhere?
Let's go back to Manhattan. Right? We're in Long Island. We're out near the water.
Please, stop.
Me, Mike. Brother, come on.
No, stop it, please. Hello? Please.
Hello?
Please.
What's the matter? What happened? Hello?
Please, get me out of here, Lee.
Hello?
You're being sarcastic about this. you're a part of this all along.
I just met him just now.
Shannon then ran from Brewer's house at 8 the fairway to Gus Coletti's house at 17 the fairway, a distance of 0.2 of a mile.
Shannon.
The call lasted for 23 minutes, and the dispatcher stated that Shannon could be heard pleading for help, as in Shannon's own words, "There's somebody after me," and "They're trying to kill me." Further investigations also confirmed that Shannon had banged on Mr. Brewer's neighbors' doors for help, as numerous witness statements from Mr. Brewer's neighbors confirmed this. The first statement was from an elderly man called Gus Coletti. He was a retired insurance fraud investigator and a resident of Oak Beach. Mr. Coletti was apparently the first neighbor Shannon had come across, and she had rung his doorbell at around 5 a.m. Mr. Coletti recalled the incident with his own words, saying, "It was like 5 in the morning. I was in the bathroom shaving. All of a sudden I heard screaming over here and banging on that door, yelling, 'Help me! Help me! Help me!' And I said to her, 'What's the matter?' She wouldn't answer me. She just kept staring at me and going, 'Help me! Help me! Help me!' I reached over and grabbed the phone, dialed 911. When I said to her, 'I called the police. Sit down in that chair. They're on their way.' She just looked at me and she ran right out the door." After this strange encounter, Mr. Coletti noticed a middle-aged Asian man who had a potbelly and wavy mess of dark hair, driving a black Ford Explorer and coming towards his house. The man then stopped when he seemingly noticed Miss Shannon Gilbert. This man would later be identified as Michael Pack, her driver, as it was around this time Michael made his attempts to follow Shannon in his car. Mr. Coletti could still see Shannon as she was now hiding under the boat in his yard. Shannon then proceeded to run away as she noticed her driver, Michael. In Mr. Coletti's own words, "All of a sudden she took off, out from under the boat, and he took off after her, and I yelled at him to stop, but he didn't, and he followed her around that way." The time was 5:21 a.m. now, and Shannon Gilbert was seen running towards a candle-shaped electric light that was placed along a windowsill. Statements from the neighbors revealed that these lights were part of a nearly decade-old vigil held by a woman named Barbara Brennan. Barbara was a widow who had unfortunately lost her husband during the September 11th terrorist attacks, and she carried out those vigils in honor of him. Barbara was apparently the second neighbor Shannon had come across. The statements gotten from Barbara said that she didn't answer the doors when she heard her, as she decided to make 2 phone calls. The first phone call made was to the police at 5:22 a.m., and the second one was made to her trusted neighbor, a man called Tom Canning. Tom Canning was a retired landscaper. The reports described him as a veiny, white-haired man with a reddish complexion. Mr. Canning claimed he had arrived at Miss Brennan's house with his dog. In his own words, "There was nobody there for me to rescue. I wish I had the chance to help her." Mr. Canning's statements were the last feasible lead to Shannon's disappearance since the cops had arrived at Miss Brennan's home at 5:40 a.m. And after some further questioning, in addition to a small-scale search for Shannon, the police officers at the scene came to the conclusion that Shannon had probably left the area with her driver, Michael. They believed that she was fine and that she was probably at home right now. But, unfortunately for these cops, this case wasn't going to be that simple, as Shannon would never return home, and her disappearance would lead to one of the biggest cases the Suffolk County Police Department had ever seen. It wasn't long before Shannon's disappearance was noticed by her family. Her mother, Mary, was one of the first people to find out, and she immediately went to the police station to get the details of everything that had transpired during her daughter's last job. With Shannon still missing, a slew of investigations were immediately carried out, in addition to an extensive search for her. The search for Shannon took priority, and a month after her disappearance, Officer John Malia was asked to use his cadaver dog, called Blue, to locate any remains or her. Officer Malia thoroughly searched the gated Oak Beach residence where Shannon was last seen. He and his dog Blue carefully scoured the entire area during the summer of 2010, looking for any clues that could lead to Shannon's whereabouts. But after everything was said and done, absolutely nothing was found. Even after an unsuccessful search attempt, Officer Malia wasn't ready to give up. He knew that she couldn't have fallen off the face of the earth. And with an ongoing investigation that hadn't yet yielded a strong suspect, almost everything pointed to the fact that Shannon was still there somewhere, and they just had to find her. On the 11th of December 2010, Officer Malia redoubled his efforts as he attempted a new search, and this time he wasn't going to give up until he found something. During his second search attempt, he decided to try a new approach as he stayed closer to the shoulder of the parkway. Officer Malia did this because he'd seen some FBI data that stipulated dumped bodies are usually found closer to roadways. So he hoped a search like this would yield some results. He and his cadaver dog Blue kept searching for a while without finding anything new. And it wasn't until they crossed an area that had thick vegetation in addition to a light layer of snow that Blue finally picked up a scent. Shocked, they both tracked the scent and it led them to a skeleton in a disintegrated burlap bag. And while the officer couldn't confirm it was actually Shannon or not, he had finally found a lead to the case. Additional cops were called in to search the vicinity for any further evidence that could tell them what had happened there. But during their search for additional evidence, another corpse was found. The cops were perplexed now as they were only looking for one corpse that had already been found. A corpse that they thought was supposedly Shannon Gilbert's, as it hadn't been confirmed yet. So finding another body shocked everyone. But the confusion just rose from there as an additional third and fourth body was found. The search had started that morning to find Shannon, but by the end of the day, 4 bodies were found. The detectives on scene all tried to make sense of the matter. And while they didn't know it yet, as in the coming weeks their morbid findings would lead them on the most prolific serial killer case Long Island has ever seen. The 4 bodies they found that day were quickly inspected, and none of them were Shannon's. The cops came to this conclusion as none of the victims possessed a titanium plate in their jaw as Shannon did, and after further investigations, the names of the victims were finally revealed as Amber Costello, Megan Waterman, Maureen Brainard, and Melissa Barthélemy. Each of their bodies were found about 500 feet from one another, all wrapped in burlap bags. After hearing this news, Mary still had hope that her daughter could be alive somewhere. But unfortunately for her and her family, the cops just discovered an even bigger case. A case that eventually started to put Shannon's missing persons case in the shadows. The cops focused more on this new case as more and more bodies were being found. But Mary wasn't going to let the police officers shift her daughter's case to the side. She made sure to keep inquiring about the progress of the case as she kept pressing the matter. This helped to keep moving things forward as searches were still being made for Shannon. In the months of March and April 2011, an additional 6 bodies were found in Nassau and Suffolk County. And after identifying each and every one of them, none of the victims turned out to be Shannon. The cops believe these bodies actually predated the 4 bodies found in December 2010. Further investigations also confirmed that the 4 women all had similar profiles to Shannon, as they were all escorts who had similar profiles to Shannon. Most of them also advertised their services on Craigslist and other similar sites. Their autopsies would later reveal that all these women were strangled by one man. This serial killer would go by many names as he was called: the Craigslist Ripper, the Manorville Butcher, and the Gilgo Beach Killer. But his most notorious name would be the Long Island Serial Killer, LISK, as that was what everyone would come to know him by. Studies show that when the cub of a female lioness is killed by a rival male, she would wait there for hours calling out to her cubs even though she knew full well they were probably dead. So, if wild animals can show this amount of compassion and hope for their children, how much more do you think we humans can? It had been a complete year now since Mary had started looking for her daughter. Usually when a grown person disappears, the cops would wait 24 hours before officially declaring the person missing. This is done because most people who are supposedly going missing will return within 24 to 48 hours. Now, if it's been a month and that person still hasn't appeared, most detectives would assume it was a kidnapping, and in that scenario there's a usually high chance that the person's alive, to be later used for ransom. If an additional 3 months go by and the person still doesn't appear, most detectives would theorize human trafficking with a little probability that said the missing person is still alive. But once a year goes by, even the very best detectives start to think the worst as everything begins to point to one answer. But Mary Gilbert had hope, albeit very little. She still believed that her daughter Shannon was out there somewhere. And even though the morbid Long Island serial killer case had now taken the attention of every detective and police officer in the area, essentially pushing her daughter's case to the side, she still made sure that her daughter's missing person case wasn't completely forgotten and that there were still some detectives on the matter. Mary steeled her resolve, as she truly wasn't going to sit idly by without doing anything. She didn't care how bleak it looked. She was going to find her daughter no matter how long it took. An additional 9 months passed, making it approximately 19 months since Shannon had gone missing. Searches were still underway, but there was absolutely no word on her whereabouts. At this point in time, Mary, with little hope she had left, needed a miracle. And even though it didn't exactly come on the way she wanted, she would get that miracle on the 13th of December 2011. Shannon was found by the police on the 13th of December 2011. Some of her belongings, like her ID, pocketbook, cell phone, jeans, phone, and shoes, had already been found a week earlier during a search of the Oak Beach Marsh, and they eventually led the police officers to her body. Her remains were found 880 yards, about half a mile, from where she had disappeared. Even though it wasn't all she'd wished for, Mary had finally gotten her daughter back, and she hoped that now that they finally had a body, the police would finally move forward with the ongoing investigation and give some definitive answers concerning what had happened to her daughter that fateful night. Bear in mind that they had already had numerous theories going around with nothing solid coming out of any of them. Further investigations were carried out by the police on Shannon's skeletal remains. But at the end of it all, Mary didn't like the answers the police managed to come up with. And for Mary, the worst had just begun. Shannon had been missing for 19 whole months, and no investigation yielded any solid evidence. Now that her remains had been found, the cops finally came up with a solution to the mystery behind her death. But not everyone was on board with their findings. On the 1st of May 2012, the medical examiners at the Suffolk County Police Department officially ruled that Shannon Gilbert died by accident. They believed that Shannon had accidentally drowned after entering the Oak Beach Marsh during a drug-induced panic. In the pathologist's own words, she had tripped and she was unable to become mobile again, so she succumbed to the elements. Shannon's demise was termed as death by misadventure, with many of the pathologists ending their analysis as inconclusive. The cops also took that death by accident narrative and ran with it, as that was finally going to bring an end to the case. But deep down, Mary did not believe a thing the police officer said. As I said earlier, numerous theories were already going around before Shannon's body was found. After most of the bodies of the LISKS victims were found, the then commissioner of the Suffolk County Police made a statement saying the police believed that there was only one serial killer responsible, and that Shannon Gilbert's case was not connected. In Commissioner Dormer's own words, "We believe that it's just a coincidence that she went missing in Oak Beach, and the bodies were found in Gilgo Beach." Commissioner Dormer would also go on to reinforce these claims when Shannon's body was found at 9:14 a.m. on the 13th of December 2011, as he went on to say, "This may just be a young lady who ran into the brush in a hysterical state, fell down and expired for some reason." But Mary Gilbert wasn't buying it. She believed her daughter's death was somehow connected to the other Long Island serial killer's victims. This conflict in beliefs eventually led to an all-out war between Mary and the Suffolk County Police Department. She already suspected foul play in Shannon's death, as she also believed that some of the police officers were connected to Shannon's death, and that the death by accident story was a ruse just to cover it up. The battle hadn't even started, and it was already looking like an insurmountable feat. But Mary Gilbert wasn't going to back down till she saw justice for her daughter. Mary filed a lawsuit against the Suffolk County Police Department on the 15th of November 2012. She hoped at the end of the lawsuit she would finally have some accurate answers as to what actually happened to her daughter that night. Attorney John Ray was the man who represented the Gilbert family. He was to investigate Shannon's death as a homicide as the police had failed to do so, and in Mr. Ray's own words, "I have tremendous respect for homicide detectives, but after putting over 750 hours of work into this case, I can see that the police have been deliberate in covering it up." Now, it was pretty clear to see where Mr. Ray was coming from. For starters, even though the existence of the 911 call was revealed with substantial claims of Shannon Gilbert saying, "They are trying to kill me," Suffolk County District Attorney adamantly chose not to release it to the public. There were also diverging claims coming from the detectives who heard the call. Detective Vincent Steffen claimed Miss Shannon Gilbert sounded calm on the 911 call, which would prove the police's theory that she was probably under the influence of drugs. But Commissioner Dormer contradicted these claims, saying Shannon sounded like she was in distress and crazy out of her mind, which would prove she was seeing something or someone that frightened her. Another detective, Officer Dominic Varone, also spoke about the 911 call Shannon made that night. As he stated, she's saying, "There's someone after me." It's a girl who clearly believes she's in harm's way. Shannon didn't say who she was scared of during the call or where she was exactly. The only thing I know for sure is that Shannon Gilbert was truly terrified, and there has to be a good reason for that. Others claimed Shannon sounded incoherent. But amidst all these claims, all John Ray fought for was the release of these calls to the public, and the repeated declination of this request by the Suffolk County Police Department seemed very suspicious. Attorney Ray also cited a lot of discrepancies and irregularities in the way Suffolk County Police Department handled Shannon Gilbert's investigation, as he went on to say, "The police have never once examined or checked the soil underneath the spot where Miss Gilbert's body was found. It never got tested for particles of flesh that could have determined whether or not she actually decomposed there, or if her corpse was dumped there by someone else." And when the Suffolk County Police Department was reached out for a comment on the matter, they did not confirm or deny any of Mr. Ray's allegations. On the 18th of September 2014, a famed forensic pathologist, a man named Dr. Michael Baden, agreed to carry out a proper and independent autopsy of Miss Shannon Gilbert's skeletal remains, as he hoped to find the clear cause of her death. When the results of Mr. Baden's independent autopsy were finally released, it was revealed that he found signs of damage and deformation on Miss Shannon's hyoid bone. For those who don't know, the hyoid bone is a lingual bone situated in the anterior midline of the neck, between the chin and the thyroid cartilage. It's essentially a curved small part of the throat, and the bone possesses two sets of horn-like protrusions. Mr. Baden's report, he noticed that the bones were missing its horns. This was a significant sign that stated strangulation might have occurred. This discovery alone would bump up Shannon Gilbert's accidental death to homicide by strangulation. And strangely enough, strangulation was the same method LISK had used to kill most of his victims. Mr. Braden would further add that due to his lack of access to Miss Shannon's soft tissue, the same tissue that was boiled away by the Suffolk County Police Department after their original autopsy on her remains, he couldn't definitively determine the actual cause of her death. In Dr. Michael Baden's own words, "There is insufficient information to determine a definitive cause of death, but the autopsy findings are consistent with homicidal strangulation." Mr. Baden would later add that even though he was truly frustrated by the lack of Miss Shannon's soft tissue to examine, he knew that the boiling away of soft tissue was a common occurrence during the post-autopsy identification procedure. In his own words, "Although I feel it was unnecessary here, it's still not indicative of an effort to obscure evidence on the part of authorities." But even if Dr. Braden couldn't officially say whether Suffolk County Police Department was hiding something by burning Miss Shannon's soft tissue, he did notice something else that was very strange, and that was the position of Shannon's body when it was found. Shannon's body was found belly up in the marsh, and this was another strange factor, as Dr. Brennan noted that it was not common for drowning victims to be found belly up or face up. Another odd thing he noted was that Shannon's belongings were found scattered around her corpse, which would also suggest that her corpse was carried to the spot where it was found. All these findings further contradicted the police's death by accidental drowning story. But even with all of this, the Suffolk County Police Department continued to ignore all these claims as they still officially listed Shannon's death as an accident. So at the end of it all, the Suffolk County Police Department couldn't find a solid suspect, and with no viable options, an accidental death was the only solution they had for Shannon's case. On May 2015, after Dr. Braden's second autopsy, and during the legal battle with the Suffolk County Police Department, the Gilbert family decided to bury Shannon as they wanted to finally put her to rest. The dates inscribed on her tombstone were October 24, 1986, through December 13, 2011. The family did this because to them she died on the day her skeletal remains were found, and not on the 1st of May 2010 when she went missing. Even though Shannon was finally put to rest, the legal battle was far from over. Both Mary and her family's attorney, John Ray, were going to see it through. It was reported that Shannon's mother, Mary, really wanted to listen to the 911 tapes herself, so she and her attorney could keep fighting. They later managed to get the court to order the Suffolk County Police Department to give up the call, but the police department appealed by ruling saying, "The audio is part of an ongoing investigation, so we can't give it up." And while the family attorney would keep trying to get hold of the 911 calls, a morbid, unforeseen tragedy would strike the Gilbert family before he had the chance to. On the 23rd of July 2016, Mary Gilbert was brutally murdered in her apartment building, and she was killed by her very own daughter, Sarah Elizabeth Gilbert. The horrific news took everyone by shock as the people wondered why a woman who was fiercely fighting for justice for her first daughter would have been killed by her second one. To understand the possibility of why Sarah killed her own mother, we'll need to go back into her childhood. Just like her sister Shannon, Sarah was also in a turbulent childhood. Sarah spent the rest of her childhood in foster care. And while Shannon developed bipolar disorder due to her bad experience in foster care, Sarah would get something much worse. Sarah had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, a terrible mental disorder that causes a person to interpret reality abnormally. One suffering from this would have a continuous or relapsed episode of psychosis. They would also suffer from varied forms of hallucinations in addition to hearing voices, disorganized thinking, and delusions. Mary knew her daughter Sarah suffered from the illness, and she was scared for her 8-year-old grandson's life. After all, Sarah had already once threatened to kill her own son, a statement that she had made to her then boyfriend. While she cared for her daughter, she knew that it was just an amount of time before her grandson was hurt by her own mother. And Mary eventually took action when Sarah killed the family's pet by morbidly drowning the animal in front of her son. So, with no other options, Mary did what she had to do to save the boy as she took custody of the child and she got Sarah arrested. Sarah was enraged by this when she finally got out on the 23rd of July. She went to her mother's house and stabbed her to death. Authorities stated that Sarah stabbed her mother with a 15-inch kitchen knife over 227 times, repeatedly hit her with a fire extinguisher, tried to suffocate her with the fire extinguisher foam, stripped her, removed her jewelry, and slit her throat in an attempt to decapitate her. Sarah would go on to plead not guilty by reason of mental illness. She claimed that she heard voices in her head that told her to do so, and that she didn't know what she was doing. But her younger sister Stevie rebutted those claims as she said her sister Sarah had a sound mind during the morbid act, and that she did it because she was furious that her mother had taken custody of her son. During Sarah's trial in August 2017, the then Ulster County Judge Donald Williams said, "We have no doubt that the defendant suffers from a debilitating mental illness that blurs the lines of fiction and reality, and we are certainly sympathetic to the difficult life circumstances she has endured. The proof, however, reasonably supports the jury's findings that, at the time of the killing, the defendant had the substantial capacity to know and appreciate both the nature and consequences of her conduct, and that such conduct was wrong." Judge Williams also added, "I will never be able to put out of my mind the comments of Sarah Gilbert's sister, Stevie, and her attorney. If you're afforded the opportunity, you will kill again." Sarah Elizabeth Gilbert was charged with second-degree murder and fourth-degree possession of a weapon. She was sentenced to 25 years to life in a state prison, the maximum sentence allowed by law. Sarah, who is now 33, is spending her time at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women. Mary Gilbert was 52 when she was murdered by her daughter. She is survived by her daughter Stevie and Cher, her then fiance Elroy, her 4 grandchildren, and her extended family. Her daughter Sarah, who is still alive, was left out of her obituary, and that comes to a surprise to no one. The Gilbert family had now suffered 2 tragedies in just 6 years. But even though Mary is gone, everything she fought for is far from over, as her youngest daughter Stevie and Cher have continued on with their fight. And with the help of the family attorney John Ray, they managed to get a victory on the 6th of May 2020, as a judge finally overturned the appeal of the Suffolk County Police Department. They were ordered to release the 10-year sealed dispatcher recordings and transcripts of the 911 call that Shannon made the night she died. That call would eventually be released 2 years later on the 13th of May 2022. With the 911 calls out and in the open, the family attorney John Ray made a statement saying, "The nature of the calls contradict what Suffolk Police Department Vincent Stefan had described in his earlier reports about the calls from that morning. Specifically, Gilbert's tone had been described by Detective Stefan as calm and indicated no desperation. After reviewing the tapes, I can claim this is not true." Nobody has been convicted of the murder of Shannon, and today the case is still ongoing. The famed Long Island serial killer or killers that might have killed Shannon are still out there and on the loose. Many bizarre theories have been going on, as many people believe the murder might have been committed by a satanic cult. Some say it was done by influential men in Suffolk politics that might have morbidly messed up sex parties in secret. Others say it was done by an individual who made snuff films. Now that we're at the end of this bizarre case, I'd like to say that there are potentially over 1 million cases in the world that are wrongfully solved or written off. Shannon Gilbert's case would have been one of them if not for her mother, Mary. Mary made sure her daughter's case wasn't pushed to the side or forgotten. And even though she unfortunately didn't get to see justice for her daughter, she can rest easy knowing that her actions made sure that one day, justice will finally be served. Once again, I really do appreciate you all dropping in to check out my video. And I'm not going to say I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but I do appreciate you listening. And if you want to help the channel out and entertain yourself, make sure to click the link in the description, get yourself 5 million chips, and join Huge Casino. Maybe I'll see you over there. Again, guys, sorry for my lack of content. I actually have a new full-time job I've been doing, so I've been super busy with that, trying to figure everything out, balancing. This was supposed to be up on Sunday, but I got sick during the weekend. Oddly enough, I've been working there like 3 months, and I've been sick twice. Hadn't been sick in 10 years, and then I went back to work full-time. I was like, oh my goodness. So, bear with me. We are going to get there, and I really do appreciate you guys. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're here. Turn on those notifications, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. Oh, and it's always scarier if it's true. That's right.
Nine, how can I assist you? Hello? Hello? Hello, you dialed into the 911 system. How can I assist you? Hello?
Yeah.
Do you need the police?
Yeah.
Where? Where? Who's there with you? Hello? What's going on?
Well, there's somebody asking me.
What?
Somebody asking me.
Somebody is harassing you?
After me.
Who?
Can you trace where I am?
Let me talk to him.
Can you trace where I am?
Let me talk to him.
I'm by the Jones Beach.
You're at Jones Beach?
By the Jones Beach.
All right, let me connect you to state police. Stay on the line.
Why?
You got to talk louder to them.
Why? Why?
State Police, Trooper Fry. State Police.
Yeah, there's somebody after me.
I'm sorry?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Okay, where are you?
There's somebody after me.
Where are you, ma'am?
I don't know.
You're driving right now?
No, I'm inside the house.
I'm sorry?
I'm inside the house.
What house?
I don't know. Can you trace where I am?
I'm sorry?
Can you trace where I am?
No, I can't. What's your callback number you're calling from?
Huh?
What phone number are you calling from?
Somebody's after me. Please.
Are you in Suffolk County or Nassau County?
I'm in Long Island.
Where on Long Island are you?
No. 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 No, stop, no.
Where in Long Island are you? In Suffolk County? Nassau County?
Huh? Why? Why you call me by my name? Why?
County, you on the line?
Stop. Please. Stop it, please. Please stop. Please. Can you shut the door?
No, time to go.
Please. Please. Please.
Go that way, please. Come on, let's go. Come on, we're all going outside. Come on, go outside. Come on, all of us. Come on, we're all going outside. Come on.
No, please.
Come on. Come on. Please, come on.
Please.
Come on.
Why?
Just come out here.
Why?
County, are you on the line?
Hurry up, I want to show you something.
Why?
I want to show you this. Please come on. Please.
Why? Why are you guys doing this to me? Doing this.
What county are you in, ma'am?
Doing this. Why are you calling me by my name? Please.
Please, give me here.
No, please.
Give me here.
No.
Please.
No, stop it, please. Stop it, please. Please, stop it. Please, stop it. No, stop it. Please, stop it. No.
Let me fix that.
Please stop it. No, please stop it, please. Please stop it, please. No, what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me? Stop it.
Please, get him out of here. What do you want?
No.
I'm upstairs. You leave. I'm going to go upstairs. You leave. I'm going to go upstairs. Okay? You leave, please. Please, get there. My hold. What's the matter? Are you okay?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
She's in a house on my...
Why?
Huh? Well, I don't know, but it was transferred to me.
Why?
No.
Are you going to tell me?
It came into... I think it's Suffolk County on the money transfer to the county Manhattan.
Tell me? Why are you going to...
Call Suffolk County.
You freaking down. Come on.
I'm in the middle of nowhere?
Let's go back to Manhattan. Right? We're in Long Island. We're out near the water.
Please, stop.
Me, Mike. Brother, come on.
No, stop it, please.
Oh, okay, fine.
Please take my control. You guys?
Yeah, I'm near the water. And
You guys?
saying let's go.
I didn't do anything.
631. 511.
Why? Mike, can you close that?
Some guy named Mike here.
Mike, why? Why?
Come on.
Why? Why, Mike? For fun? For me? I'm never going to enjoy it again. Why? never do. I never did. Mike, please. Mike, please. Please. Please.
There is something I don't know what phone she's calling from, but I can't tell her back. You know where she's coming from? She needs help.
You're like, I'm going to find my way home.
It's something in the house with the female. And the female was the initial caller.
So this is all set up?
You set everything up? Remember, I waited for you. You told me you're going to find your way home, so I was like, what? You know, nothing that I called.
So this is all set up?
You never did this before.
Put it back there.
Well, you're joking with me, right?
Why?
I don't know. Why are you doing that?
All right, I'll say I was lying. I was lying.
You did?
Why?
But it's a 631 number.
Why?
Call back.
You can try talking to her, but she's not.
Please.
Since she's got the phone down.
Please.
Hello?
Please.
Hello?
Please.
What's the matter? What happened? Hello?
Please, get me out of here, Mike.
Hello?
You're being sarcastic about this. You were part of this all along.
I just met him just now. I called you after. I called this number.
Mike, please. I'm begging you. I just want to go home. Mike, why?
Well, we can give them...
What's this one?
573-9308.
Is that us?
What's going on?
I think
the number.
so.
What? Yeah.
Extension answering. That's the number it came in.
Why are you sitting there knocking about this house, then? Something's going to happen to me.
There's nobody outside.
Yeah, you could call it,
You're okay, right?
but we're not going to know where it is.
Little.
County should call it.
Right.
No, isn't that the county phone number?
Please.
Every time county 911 transfers something over.
Okay.
511 thing.
Get out of here. What's in the phone?
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Not Suffolk? It's got to be Suffolk, right? Hello?
Stop it. Stop it, Mike.
Hello, where are you?
Huh?
In the house on 19.
Where are you?
What's going on
What's her
there?
name?
What's your name?
Where's the bathroom? I'll see you.
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
God, we called.
What's your name?
Shannon Gilbert.
Where are you?
I'm by, I'm in Long Island.
And Mike is there. Some kind of
And what's wrong?
Huh?
What happened?
These people are plotting to kill me.
Where are you? What's your address? What's your address?
My address.
What's your address?
No, Mike, stop, Mike, here. Mike, stop. Mike, stop, Mike. Mike, stop it.
Where are you?
Mike, stop it. Mike, stop it.
What's your name, Shannon?
Huh?
What's
Mike, stop. Come here.
Where are you? What's your address? Hello?
You want me to call the police?
Yeah, hold on a minute. I know you're telling the truth. The address.
What are we going to tell them?
Tell them something. Mike, stop it. You guys are planning something. Mike.
Where are you?
Mike.
We're fine then. Why don't we all...
Are you in the house?
Yeah. Mike, stop it.
What town are you in?
Long Island. Mike, it's...
Where?
Stop, Mike.
Where in Long Island?
Stop it, Mike. Mike, stop it. Mike, stop it.
Where in Long Island are you?
I don't know.
Hello?
Yeah, tell me.
Where in Long Island are you?
I don't know. You're going to tell me.
Are you in a house? Are you in a house?
Yeah.
Whose house is it?
I don't know.
Who is Mike? What's his last name?
He's funny.
Mike what?
He's funny. History school.
How old are you? What's his last name? What's his last name? What's his last name? Shannon. 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 Shannon.
Yeah.
What town? What town are you in? Hello? What's Mike's last name? Hello?
You're going to kill me.
One of the guys said, let's go back to my town.
Where are you? Where are you, Shannon? Shannon. Shannon.
1034.
1034, 963, Gray.
Shannon. She's not talking.
I want to put her to the phone.
You do?
I called this number back in the state. Is that the number she's calling from?
I think that's her number. 9308 is one of our extensions, I think. Oh, did you call that one?
Shannon? Hello? There's the shield on the car. 1955. Shannon? I wonder if she has a phone in her pocket.
Shannon. Shannon. Shannon.
What's the matter? Somebody at you? Huh?
Hello? Hello?
Are you alright? Don't keep yourself hurt. Where are you going? Wait a minute. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Something like Dopert, D-O-P-E-R-T. Hello? She didn't spell it, but that's what it sounded like.